Welcome besties to another episode of our KNIT tutorials. Today we'll be learning how to draft the KNIT basic bodice block. Now this is how the KNIT basic blocks looks like. This is the front and then this is the back bodice block. If you take a look at it, you can see it's really very simple. There are no darts at all, no waist darts, no bust dart at all. It is so easy and simple to draft. Now, if you're someone who likes to make very quick garments, then you need to draft these bodies so that you can easily manipulate it and use it to draft patterns for a top, for a dress, or for even other kinds of garments. Okay, so right away I'm going to show you the measurements we will need to take to draft these bodice block and how to take these measurements correctly. So for this KNIT bodice block, we'll need about 10 different types of measurements. Now please ensure that you take your measurements correctly because it's really going to help you to have a proper fit bodice block. All right, good. Ensure that you wear the right undergarment and you wear the right clothing, something a little bit fitted, so that you get your measurements correctly. Okay, so the first measurement we will need will be our full length, and our full length, you take it, place your tape measure like this, place it directly on your neck tip somewhere here, and then you just measure your full length all the way down to your waistline. Just locate your waistline and place it there. Now you can ask a friend to help you take this measurement, or you can actually stand in front of a mirror to take these measurements so that you are sure that your measurements are taken accurately, because accurate measurement equals proper fit garment. Okay, the other measurements we'll take is from your neck tip still to your bust point. So just your bust point is where your nipple position is, so just locate where your bust point is. Okay, those are the two vertical measurements that you need. And then the third vertical measurement you need is from your waist to your big hip. So you just place your tape measure like this from your waist, where your waist is, all the way down to the fullest part of your hip. Now you can use a standard measurement for that. You can use the standard measurement for it is about 24 cm or 22 cm. Between 24 and 22 cm works very well. It's a horizontal, since they are vertical measurements, it works really well. Okay, now the other measurements you will need to take is you're going to take your bust circumference. So you take your tape measure, place it around the fullest part of your bust, just like this, and then you make sure that the back side is staying very well on the same level, and that's it. So you record it down, and then you're going to take your waist circumference as well, something like this. Don't suck in your tummy, just take it something like this, okay, around your waistline, and ensure that it's also staying very well like so. Okay, then the other ones you need to take would be your shoulder length. So you're going to place your tape measure here directly where, somewhere around here, you see where my neck bone is here. Then you place your tape measure like this all the way down, straighten it a little bit, okay, somewhere here, and then take it all the way down to this part. Now you see where if you have a dress or a top like this where you can see your armhole, so you just take your shoulder length from here, from your neck tip all the way down to where the shoulder stops. So the other measurements you will need is you're going to take your across chest measurement. Across chest means from one point here to the other point. So you place your tape measure and then you take it just like this. So from one armhole to the other part. So that's the across chest measurement. And then you're also going to take your apex measurement, or what people call nipple to nipple. That's from one point of your nipple to the other point of your nipple. Okay, so that's the apex to apex measurement. All right, then another measurement you will need is your armhole depth. So for the armhole depth, it's a little bit tricky, but you can get it. What I normally do, and this has really worked for me, I just placed something straight, like a meter roll, something like this, directly under my arm so that I can measure the depth of my armhole. So I take my tape measure, place it directly here, and then all the way down to, let me turn like this so that you can see. So from here now, all the way down to where my meter rule starts from, somewhere here, from here to here. So for me, I have about 19 cm. Okay, so that's going to be my armhole depth. Okay, then the next measurement you will need to take would be your neck circumference. So you place your tape measure around your neckline and then you measure it like this, something like this. So this is going to be your neck circumference. All right, so the last measurement you need to take would be your hip circumference, your big hip circumference. So you place your tape measure around the fullest part of your hip like so, and then you take your big hip circumference. Okay, now, so once you finish taking your measurements, ensure to write them down. We're going to do a little division. It's not hard, you can use your phone to do that. You're going to take all your horizontal measurements, for example your bust circumference and your waist circumference and your hip circumference. You're going to divide them by 4. When you divide them by 4, you're going to write down the value. It is the value that you get that we're going to use to draft your body's block. Now the reason why we had to divide by 4 is because we're just making 1/4 of our body's block. Okay, now for your neck circumference, you are going to divide your neck circumference by 5. So that's the only one that is different. So divide that by 5. Okay, whatever you get, you're going to record down your measurement. So we're going to work with that. So if you have finished doing this, now let's head over to the table. Let's quickly draft our knit block. So to start drafting the knit bodice block, the first thing we're going to do is you are just going to draw a long vertical line, and then you're also going to draw a horizontal line across it. These lines are just to serve as guides. Okay, so once you've done this, now we're going to start putting in our details. So this part is going to be the top part. Okay, so from here you are going to measure downwards your full length. That is your length from your shoulder tip to your waistline. So let's do the upper part first. Okay, so mine is about 43 cm. I just mark. So from here to here, it is your full length from your neck tip to your waistline. Okay, now the next thing you're going to measure is you are going to use your bust circumference. Okay, now whatever you have as your bust circumference, remember we divided by 4. So whatever value you now have, you're going to measure from here all the way down to this part. Okay, so for me, after I divided my bust by 4 cm, I have about 32 cm. So I'm just going to mark here. So from here to here. Okay, so whatever value you put from here to here is what you're also going to put on your waistline. Just let your lines be straight. Okay, so now you're going to join it together like in the form of a box. So now I can already write that this is my center front and my center back. Okay, and this is the top part. Okay, yeah, so this is going to be my waistline. All right, good. Now the next thing you're going to do now is, let's first of all just draw our neckline. Okay, so let me start with the back neckline. So for the back neckline, you are just going to measure from here, the top here, you're just going to measure downwards about 2.5 cm. So here you mark from here to here 2.5 cm. Now whatever your neck value is, you are going to measure it here. Remember your neck circumference, you're going to divide it by 5. So whatever you have after you have divided by 5, you're going to put that value from here to here. So for me, I have 8.4 cm. So I'm going to mark. Now for me to have a very nice edge when I cut it out, I'm just marking from here to here about 2 cm. I need this place to be flat. Okay, now you use your pattern master and then connect these points together, this point to this point. So this is going to be my center back neckline. Now let's draw our center front neckline. So again, you're going to measure from here, whatever your neck circumference is divided by 5, you're going to minus 0.7. For me, I had 8.4 cm. So from here to here was 8.4 cm after I have divided my neck circumference by 5. Okay, so that 8.4 cm from here to here, I'm going to minus 0.7 cm just to create the depth of my neckline. So if I remove 0.7 cm, I'm going to have about 7.7 cm. So from here to this part now, which is the neck depth, is about 7.7 cm from here to here. Again, you're going to make here a little bit flat, and then you're going to connect these points to these points. Okay, so you have your front neckline and then you have your back neckline. All right, I hope you get it. Now the next thing we are going to do is we're going to draw from here. Now we're going to draw before we draw our shoulder. You remember that our shoulder is not straight, it's a little bit slanted. So we're going to draw a guideline that will help us draw our shoulders. So from here, I'm just going to draw down 5 cm. So I'm just going to draw a straight line across it. So this line is just to serve as a guide. So you see? Okay. So the next thing you're going to do now is you're going to impute your shoulder length measurement. So whatever your shoulder length measurement is, you're going to place it like this. For me, my shoulder length measurement was 13 cm. So I'm going to place, this is 13 cm. I'm going to place it here on my shoulder, on my neck tip, and then adjust my meter rule like this until it gets to this end. Now if yours is like 15 cm, for example, you're going to place it here 15 cm and then adjust it until it gets to the tip of this your guideline. Okay, so since mine is 13 cm, I'm just going to place it like so. Okay, and then I draw my neck tip, my shoulder line. All right, so once you've done that, the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to measure, impute our armhole depth. You are going to measure from here now. These are our guidelines. You're going to measure it downwards, your armhole depth. My armhole depth is about 19 cm. So I'm just going to mark from this guideline, take notes from here. So that means I come to this part again and measure 19 cm or whatever your armhole depth is. Mine is 19, doesn't mean that yours will be 19. Okay, and then you connect these points together. So this point here is going to be your armhole line. So the next thing for us to do now will be for us to mark our chest line. Now to mark your chest line, the chest line, you're going to get it the midway or halfway between this our guideline here and this underarm here. This line is actually our underarm. Let me write it. Underarm. Okay, so from here to here, this is our armhole depth. So you're going to get your chest line halfway through. So you look for the midpoint and then you mark. So my midpoint here is about, okay. And then you also go to this point here and then you look for the midpoint, okay? And then you connect them together in a straight line. So this is going to be your chest line. And on this chest line, we are going to mark our across chest measurement. So you're going to start from here. Whatever you have as your measurement, you're going to place it here. For me, I have about 19.5 cm. So you're going to measure your across chest measurement from here, and then you mark. Good. So now we are ready to draw our armhole. To do that, we go to our underarm, and then here you're just going to mark, say, about 2 cm. The reason why we are doing this is so that this part will be flat. We want it flat, just the way this part is flat and that part is flat. Now once you've marked this, you're going to connect this point, and this point together. So you're going to use your French curve to connect them nicely. Now you may not be able to connect them once, you can connect them in sections. So first of all, I'm going to connect these 2 points together like so, okay? And then you go ahead and connect these other points together. So that is your armhole. This is going to be your front armhole. So let me already indicate it. Front armhole. And then we're going to draw the back armhole. The back armhole is also pretty easy. From here now, from your shoulder tip, you're going to measure downwards 2 cm. Just mark it. And then on your chest line here, you are going to take it out 1 cm. You just mark. Now you're going to connect this point with this point to this point. Okay? So this part here now is going to be our back armhole. Okay, so once you've done that, the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to place our waistline measurement. So from here now, from the center back or center front, you are going to put your waistline measurement. And that measurement is going to be the measurement you have divided by 4. Your waist circumference divide by 4. So whatever you have as your measurement, you are just going to impute it. So I'm just going to mark it here like so. So the next thing you're going to do now is you're going to draw your bust line. So you're going to measure from here, from the top here, whatever your bust point line is. So my bust point here was about 31 cm. So I'm just going to mark just like this. Now if you want to have a straight line, you're also going to measure it from the top here, whatever value you have as your bust line or your bust point measurement. And then you're just going to connect it nicely like so. Okay, good. Now on this your bust line, you're going to place your apex or your nipple position. Now what you're going to do is whatever your apex to apex was, you're going to divide it by 2, or whatever your nipple to nipple was. I had 24 cm, so if I divide mine by 2, I'm going to have 12 cm. So from here to here you mark your 12 cm or whatever value it is, and then you just place it like this. The reason why we need to mark this apex point is because even though we do not have that for these bodies, whenever we want to create princess style line or empire style line or those kind of style lines, we need this apex position. This part here is going to serve as a guide. Now you are going to connect this point nicely to your waistline like so. Okay, so we have actually finished drafting the upper part. Now let's get down to the lower part. So for the lower part, from your waistline, you are going to mark your waist to your big hip measurement. So whatever you have, you mark it here. Mine was 24 cm, so I'm just going to mark like this. Okay, and then you come to this part too, and then you mark it as well to serve as a guide. Good. Now whatever your hip circumference is, you divided it by 4. So whatever value you get, you are going to place it here. So you mark it from here all the way down to this part. Whatever your hip circumference divided by 4 is. So Mine was 32 cm, so I'm just marking here, from here to here. So now you are going to connect this point to this point to complete your block. So you just connect it like so. Now you notice that there is a sharp pointy edge here, and we don't want any sharp edges. So you're going to take your French curve or your pattern master, whatever, to smoothing this part out. Good. So you're just smoothing it out like so. So you're going to have something like this. Good. So this is how our bodice block, our knit bodice block, is going to look like. Very easy peasy, right? So if you're interested in a more detailed tutorial on how to grade this knit block, because normally we have to grade this knit block into the different categories of knit, because all knit categories are not the same. So some are very stretchy, some are slightly stretchy, and some are really super stretchy. So for you to grade this block into different categories, I have all the full details in my online stretch knit class. So the link is going to be in the description box below. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and click the link, subscribe, so that you can join my sewing community, where you have access to all of these tutorials and many more, where you can also ask me questions directly too. We also have live classes every other week to answer your questions. Okay, good. So now we are going to place our tracing paper over it, and then we're going to trace out the block. We're going to trace out the back. So the back block, the back bodice block, we're going to trace it out. You see where the back bodice block is? This is the back armhole. This is the back neckline. Every other thing goes. So we're going to trace that out, and then I'll show it to you. Okay, now to trace this out, and if you want to trace it into a hard cardboard, you're going to get your hard cardboard like this, and then you place this on top. I'm just going to trace out the back part, then I'll show it to you. So place it on top, and then you place your weight on it. Normally, before you actually put this on the hard cardboard, it's always best for you to fit it first. Then you're sure that you've done all the corrections, if there are any, and then you place it on your hard cardboard to trace out. You will need your serrated tracing wheel, and then you just use it to trace out all the lines. When you use your serrated tracing wheel, it will show holes on the other side of your cardboard, so that you can see it and follow those holes. Okay, so once you finish, you just remove it, and then you trace out, you follow the holes, and then you just trace out your block. Okay, so once you finish tracing it out like this, then you're just going to cut off the excess paper. So this is how you get your block. Very easy and straightforward. And then let me trim out the front part here. Let me show you how the front part is going to look like. So now you have your bodice block. You have the front part and the back bodice block. Easy peasy, right? Did you enjoy this tutorial? Was it simple enough for you to understand? Please, if it was, let me know in the comment section, okay? And if you found this tutorial helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share with your sewing buddies, all right? Then if you have questions that you want to ask, please drop them in the comment section. I'll be really happy to help out. Now, if you want to learn how to grade these blocks into different knit categories, please don't hesitate to join my online school. Now, let me show you what I have. So you see, I've graded mine into different knit categories. So these blocks, they are same basic blocks, but I've graded them into different knit categories, so that whichever knit fabrics I have and I'm working with them, you can just easily pick up the block for that category and use them. Okay, then I have other tutorials of how to work with knit in my online school. Go check it out. It's something you're going to like. So just go check it out. Don't hesitate. Okay, all right, I'll see you again in my next class. Bye bye.